All right, I think you're good.
All right. Design Review Board, February 5th, 2020, at 5:30 p.m. Meeting at the City Council Chambers at 915 South Torreville Road, Bisbee, Arizona, will now come to order. Roll call. Peter Gaffer. Present. Stephen Green.
Yeah.
Yvette Ponte.
Here.
Frank Davis here. John Sky.
Present.
Ben Lepley.
Here.
Sean Kramer.
Here.
And
Leslie
Leslie's-
Johns is excused.
is excused. Okay,
Yes.
very good. The staff would like to inform all applicants that the applications on this DRB agenda will require a building permit or a sign permit. Also, that the Design Review Board approval does not necessarily reflect the views and policies of the State Historic Preservation Office, which controls decisions impacting the tax status of designated contributing historic properties. Please review SHPO's policies. If necessary, contact them directly before making any exterior changes to your properties. Now, call to the public. I have a couple of people that want to speak on probably 805 Tombstone. Lowell. Braxton? Yes. If you come to the podium and state your name, where you live.
Oops, I'm about to lose my notes here. Well, thank you, Mr. Chairman and members of the board. I'm Lowell Braxton, and I'm representing Bisbee Partners LLC, and that's the owner of 803 Tombstone Canyon. This matter of 805 Tombstone Canyon has been before you in the past, and I just wanted to review the chronology briefly with you and let you know our concerns about moving forward with this. We first approached the city in about 2013 with the property, and with 805 that is. And it was in a degraded state then. We spoke to the building inspector, and he agreed with our contentions. And we sent letters in, I believe, 2014, 2015 to the city and council members again, noting the concerns that we had with the deserted building and its dilapidated condition. We corresponded with the city again in 2016, 2017, and in September of 2018, this board discussed the city's demolition order for the property of 805 Tombstone Canyon. And our property manager, Doris Turner, representing us, and obviously a city resident, longtime city resident with OK Realty, was representing us at that occasion. I believe David Tynes was at that meeting, and he asserted that he was the owner. Our opinion is that he's not on the tax records as an owner of 805. I'm not sure what relationship he may have with that, but I wouldn't think you want to award him or consider him as owner status when he's making presentations to you. Shortly after the 2018 meeting, the October 2018 meeting, I think you ordered tabling of a demolition order so that you could consider ongoing matters associated with this. And I think it's been before you several times since then. I won't review that further, but probably 5 or 6 agenda items. I haven't developed the chronology on that fully. In December of 18, you were updated on it, and again, as I said, several other times subsequent to that. In December 19, the status of condemnation procedures was reviewed before you, and I believe you ordered the city attorney to provide you with a report on how that was done. We were not here for the January 2000 board meeting, but presume that that was done since I think it was on the agenda. So just quickly in summary, this property has been hanging around in a degraded condition at least since 2013, about 7 years or more. I think some of the things that you ordered the alleged owners to do included putting new roofing on there. I wouldn't say that roofing would meet code for a permanent building at all. If you look at the north side of the building, that is the back side of the building, there's nothing there whatsoever, no new roofing. It's just a pile of shingles and corrugated metal back there. I've got pictures of that, but I didn't think I'd take the time to present it. So I guess the concern that I would say in summary is we've had a degraded building next to an occupied structure for many, many years now. We're worried about fire hazards and other things of that nature, and hope you'll consider that in any addressing that you do. It may be moot to remind you of this, but a similar situation occurred, a burn situation occurred very recently in Bisbee when a deserted house on Curve Street burned and took another house with it. So please, as you consider how long this thing has lasted and some of the other attended orders that you've given, I hope we can get to a quick concern to this and relieve this ugly score on the side of the city. Thank you very much for your opportunity.
Thank you.
I can answer questions if that's appropriate.
We cannot discuss this at this point.
Very good. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. Doris, would you like to speak?
I actually would just like to emphasize what Mr. Braxton said. We've been, every month, this was supposed to be on the agenda, and the owner was supposed to have done some stuff. Well, he tore down the roof of that porch that fell down. He did some temporary repair on the front of the roof, but not on the back. The yard has not been taken care of. I also had given some people the information that the deceased, Mr. Tynes' deceased wife, is still the owner of record. Whatever claims he might have had on the property, nobody knows, but as some of you know, in the meantime, a company in Nebraska, in Lincoln, Nebraska, has paid the taxes. So that needs to be addressed. I mean, right now, everything with that place is in limbo. And I'm positive, I have dealt with some of those companies before, they have no clue. They look at the county data, and I forgot to look it up, but the county data is, I mean, compared to what it looks like, it's outrageous. So they think they'll pay the taxes in some time when they're actually half the property, they're going to put it on the market. Somebody really needs to get a hold of them and say, look, you don't know what you're getting into. But that's kind of all, you know, please kind of really talk about it. I know it's a historic building, or it's considered a historic building. It was looking good 20 years ago, but right now it is really a danger to the buildings next to them. Thanks.
Thank you, Doris. All right, little musical interlude there. Now we're on to agenda item number 1. Discussion and possible approval of material choices for replacing the roof on the Convent Presbytery Church.
I know you have some in your packet. This is some colored stuff, which I hope might help things better. One more. Okay. Thank you. My name's Ken Budge. I'm here to represent, I have one of the session members from this Covenant Presbyterian with us tonight. She asked me to speak for this. As you know, this is one of the significant contributors in Old Bisbee, and it has been one of my things of trying to save it for many, many years. We've gone around and around on this. We had some insurance money that was spent to take care of the steeple, but the roof is still in very, very bad shape. There's still several leaks. We've done little repairs here and there to try to keep it together. But as you may or may not know, the shingles that are on there are asbestos shingles, so we're looking at big bucks to tear those off and then put something else on. So with that said, what we're coming for is we've found a possible place where we can apply for grants, and it's called Sacred Places. And so we're gonna try to use that to do that. In order to do that, we have to go out and get bids. So we have to find out how much it will cost to replace the roof. So to get bids, we have to understand what are we gonna ask them to bid on. So what I've come before you tonight is 2 proposals that I would hope you could pre-approve to replace those shingles, either with asphalt or our preference, if we can, we can afford it, or if it comes through, would be the metal. And it would be the same design, and we would try to keep it into the gray colors, of course. So that's what you kind of see before you is examples of the 2 different products that we're going to go out to bid for, so then we could start writing the grant. I'm here to answer any questions, and the whole point here was to try to match the same design that was there in as close colors we could.
Hey Ken, so we talked about this a while ago.
Yep.
And I went to the site with you and we looked at the tiles and, yeah, and what I discovered from those asbestos tiles is they used to have a slate sand that was pressed into them, and that's all washed off. But that slate sand, when you put it up to, visually next to the steeple, used to match the slate that's still on the steeple.
Right.
So I think it would be pretty cool to try and match the new tiles that you found to the steeple and not necessarily to the
Yeah,
faded
it's a little
asbestos.
greener. It's a little greener up on the
Yeah.
top.
Yeah,
And if color is a big concern, we can deal with that when we'll come back before you and say, okay, I need final approval for this, color-wise. But, you see there's a color sheet included with what is there. Unfortunately, the asphalt shingles don't come in those kind of colors, there's only like 3, so that, limits that ability. The problem we've had is we've tried to go up and fix some things, there's no way to get a lift in there that can reach that far places, and as soon as you touch one of those tiles, it breaks. They're so brittle and so bad, so it's almost impossible to get up and do much, so it's better to kind of just back off and let it go, and a few little places that have been patched have been able to do it. This is these are the color samples for the asphalts, what's available. They're mostly all grays and browns.
Yeah, I think that we'd like, if you could, as Ben suggested, try to match the steeple, that would be nice, but of course you're gonna only be able to do what you can do. I think the biggest thing is to keeping towards the style of what's on there now.
That's what I try to do, is look at the design versus the
Right.
color so much.
Yeah.
Because like you said, I think the original may have been some type of slate that was up a high. And then, I don't know if these shingles are original, I've gone back to all the stuff I can look at to see if there's any, but they're all black and white pictures, so I can't tell
Can't tell.
what was happening way back when.
Right.
So the whole thought process with the session and the owners of the churches should try to match what's there, and we'll deal with colors after we'll if we can get the grant, we'll bring color samples to you and show you
Okay.
and help that.
And I guess that'll depend on how much a grant is
Well, that's
for.
it.
If you-
First, we have to say, okay, how much does it cost to tear off all these,
Right.
these asbestos shingles? And then if we use this versus this, what are the two costs? We write a grant. It may take up to 2 years. And I mean, you know, it could take even whatever, but you gotta start the process. The first process I recommended the church was to come to you and say, okay, fine, we'll be okay with this style of shingles, either metal or the asphalt, and then we'll go off the grants and come back to you. We don't wanna write a grant and get the money and then come back and say, oh, well, you can't use that. You see, it's kind of the step process that I'm here before you for.
Any other comments on this?
Ken, the metal ones
Yes.
are gonna last a lot longer than the, felt shingle.
Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely, sure.
So you're gonna be coming back to the DRB in about 30 years and doing all this again, if you don't choose a durable roofing, as durable as the one that's on there now.
Yes,
So,
but it's all money, as you know. What the
Yeah.
grant will give us, if the grant won't pay for metal, but will pay for the other, at least that's a 25 or 30-year roof. I'll be
Yeah.
dead and gone, and somebody else will be coming.
Someone else will be
But all I can say is it's a matter of, that there's no way that the church can afford, a $100,000 roof.
Sure.
And we're guessing, I'm guessing.
I would make a motion to approve that you're gonna keep the design of the shingle that's on there now as close as possible. And that when you get your money lined up, come back to us and talk about color.
Absolutely.
Anybody want to second that? All in favor?
aye.
Aye. Thank you very much. Have a good evening.
Thank you very much.
And now, agenda item 2, application 19-75, residential historical district non-contributing property number 923, located at 625 Tombstone Canyon. Applicant Leslie York, and I think John, you gonna speak to this, John?
Yes, I'm gonna speak for Brian Hope and Leslie York.
Yeah, Brian notified me that he couldn't make it, so it's great to fill in.
Well, what we got here is windows and doors on the outside of this building, and little lap pool. And the deal with the windows here is they're gonna try to keep their sliders, if you guys look on your schedules there, but they got the grids in them and stuff, it's kind of the way they are now. What page that's on? In the middle there somewhere. I guess we'll start with the windows and the doors.
Okay, that'd be fine.
Okay, yeah, there's on the front schedule of the house, there's a big window, and it's got two side windows with casements that open out, okay? So that's a picture window with two casements, and then there's a couple other windows in the front for the bathroom area there, on the porch, that are gonna be also sliders, as they already are, but they got the little squares in them to make them look historical and stuff. They kind of look very historical. So that was the big if there, if that was gonna be able to happen there, with those windows, with the grids and stuff, Being that they were existing already with
Right,
grids and
it's
stuff in there.
replacing what's there.
And these are really high-end windows compared to the stuff that was there, so.
So the windows that were there before, were aluminum sliders,
Yeah, they're,
like with the single
no, I think
pane?
they're vinyl, but they're sliders, they're the ones to the right of the house right here. He's over here. Yeah, you can barely see him. That was probably a better picture than. He just dropped this on my lap, so.
Okay. That's the double. He's talking about the slide.
You guys got this schedule right there? It's these windows right
Yes,
here.
those on the far.
Hey, John, these are the sliders here?
Yeah, these are all sliders at
All
this
three of
point. Yeah, all of them.
And these?
And
No,
that looks like a single one there. But yeah, that's the way it's gonna end up, like that with those and doors and
But they'll
stuff.
have the grids in them.
Yeah, they all got grids and they're all,
Oh, yeah, I can see the little.
You can see it now.
The little window.
Yeah.
Okay,
That's a sad.
any comments about the
That's a, not original.
sliding windows? Is there room enough to put a double hung in those? Typically.
in that bathroom area, it's very, it'd be real close.
Yeah,
And that's the only area those are gonna be showing, is that little area, and it's under a porch, so it's hardly even visual.
so it will look more or less like a traditional window
Yeah, it's
with the
gonna,
grids in them. You
yeah,
won't-
it's gonna look very much like
Yeah.
a traditional one with a casing and framing around it, stuff like that.
Any questions, comments about that? You okay with that?
So basically, you just wanna change the windows and use the rough openings that are already there, that's why we're trying to stick
Yeah, we're
with
trying to
this
use
style
that rough
window.
opening and stuff like that, and then,
Well, I think except for window number 7, is getting much bigger and that's.
Yeah.
yeah, that one is getting bigger,
Yeah,
which there's no problem there.
Oh, that's a double hung, right?
Yeah. That one's gonna be like a picture window, and then you got the two crankers on the side.
Right.
we're just trying to keep costs down.
Well, I don't know about that, but,
Well, it costs a lot more to change the rough openings.
yeah, there's no, I think we're okay with that.
Yeah.
But, and then you got the front door is getting replaced,
Right.
which that's just, I haven't even seen it, but it's a really nice, door. Then the other two doors is gonna be two French doors in the middle of that porch. There's a window there now, but the window's going out, and they're gonna be two French doors to that master bedroom, okay, with the grids and stuff in them.
So your client's not opposed to changing the rough openings in the windows, so they're not sliders?
I don't think there's room there because of what's going on inside
Uh-uh.
with the bathtubs and then stuff like that.
Oh,
It's a
it's a
bathroom.
bathroom.
Okay.
Oh, both of those windows are in the bathroom? Oh, okay,
Yeah.
makes more sense.
Well, I think where they, yeah, they'll have the grids in them, they look like a traditional window.
Yeah, no, I've seen, we've had it done before on stuff like this, so.
Okay, and about the, there's gonna be a pool, or is
Yeah,
this?
actually, there's like, and then there's like a lap pool, the lady's had lots of surgeries on her shoulders and stuff, that's for therapy. And it's up there in that one part of the yard there. Let's see what
Yeah, I
picture
see
that is.
that on the site plan. There's no
Yeah.
covering over that, just,
There probably will be a covering at some point, and who knows, in front of that, where that fencing, that railing is, there's probably gonna be something to cover that, so I don't think she wants everybody watching her swim. But, it's that little area right here, let's see if I can point it up.
yeah,
This
right
one right
there,
here.
right, yes.
Okay?
Yeah. But for now, there's no structure
And the-
going over that.
Not at this point, no, not that I know of.
Was it an endless pool, is that what it?
Yeah, it's just a little,
Has a, does
it's
it
got a
have,
pump, it's an actual little pool is
Yeah.
what it is. And it's just for her to
Is it
cruise
for
from one end to the other.
yeah,
Is it in ground, or is it stick, is it like a?
No, there's a lot of dirt there, you could dig it, you gotta have to dig it out.
it's gonna be in ground,
Yeah. Mhm.
it's not gonna set up above.
Is, you mentioned the front door, is that, historic, or like an old solid wood door, or is it?
Yeah, if not, it'll be, I haven't seen it, he just bought it in the
No,
other day.
the old one. the old one that you're
Replacing?
replacing it.
Yeah, it was somebody put that in there. It's not an original door, and it's all stained glass with the welding and stuff through it, so the glass it's a safety hazard, and it's just about to fall out.
So it's not original.
No, it's not original anyway.
Okay. Any other questions, comments?
I mean, it seems like there's no like original panel doors or sash windows that are being taken out.
Right.
So for me, it's more
Yeah.
like a like for like
Yeah.
in a way.
Sure.
I'll make a motion,
Please
if
do.
you guys are, make a motion to approve, DRB application 19-75 as is.
I have a second.
Oh, excuse me, one more thing I think we forgot, was the garage. Is the garage in here?
Okay.
Real quick, right?
And also, what about the metal railings? Are those proposed to be?
Yeah, on the porch area, they're gonna have those columns they're existing 4x4 columns. They're gonna get wrapped, so they look more colonial, traditional style on that front porch.
Mhm.
Where I see here,
Yeah,
on these,
right.
okay. And then the railings are gonna end up, she's wanting to make those out of wood and replace the metal ones that are there, but.
Okay, well, that's good.
Okay,
So I guess, I don't know about the columns, but the railings I don't have a problem with, but slender columns on porches is kind of a thing in Bisbee, especially if they're turned on a lathe.
What's there now, John?
4x4 posts, just
It's
kinda,
pretty slender.
yeah, there's.
Yeah, well, that's real simple, yeah.
And that kind of more indicates a craftsman style versus, you know, the
These all
pioneer
tie in
style.
with the windows really nice, it just gives you a nice facade there, you know.
Mhm.
Because those 4x4 posts is gonna make that,
Yeah.
make this look bad.
You wanna dress
You
it
know what
up
I
a
mean?
little bit.
Because they're not very pleasant to look at.
Yeah, I think it's
Is
good.
there any, those columns that are on there, I didn't have time to look, are they spun on a lathe
They're
or
not
anything?
spun, somebody ran a router on them, on the edges, that's what they did,
They're just 4x4s,
Yeah.
the corners have been routed.
something like that, yeah.
And then you wanna change the railing on the porch and the railing around where you park cars?
No, this is just the one on the porch.
Just the one
I'm
on the
gonna change
porch?
that to wood. See, there's a drawing of the post and there's a drawing.
Well, it's all matching now.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, all of the metal rails match all the way to the street, the natural.
I was gonna try to talk her into just keeping those, just shortening them up, put them back in there.
Yeah.
Putting the wooden ones back in there, just a waste of money.
Yeah, well, that's a possibility. Okay, what about the garage?
Okay, where is the garage at? The garage is, all gonna be structured, with that, TNG or shiplap siding, 5-inch to match that one section where that, the front of the house, the left side of the house there, where the gable is.
So we'll have the same type of
So it's
siding.
gonna be 5-inch siding, 4-inch siding on that. With the garage door, the schedule's on there, a picture of that's on there, it's right here.
So they're actually gonna remove the ironworks that are there, because it's an iron gate with a latch, right?
Yeah, probably, or leave that in the front, I'm not sure what they're gonna do there. But, and then the garage, it's all framed in for the garage, we gotta frame the walls and then the siding on it, and the front of the garage door.
The roof line stays the same, is that
Yes, sir.
correct?
Okay.
On the garage, are you planning on leaving, because when I was out there today, I noticed that the pillars that are there right now that are holding it up are done in rock. Are you planning on leaving that, because I'm looking at the rendering here,
Mhm.
and it looks like the rock is there, or
Those rock or the brick? On the corners of the,
Yeah, on
over
the
the garage,
corners.
right?
Yeah,
I don't remember if they're rock or
It
brick.
looked like
rock or brick or
Oh,
something.
here's that one picture. I think they're all just that brick.
Is it a brick?
Yeah, it's just that brick, it's got that
Yeah.
paint on it and stuff, that
Yeah,
old style.
it was hard to tell.
Yeah, deteriorated brick or whatever.
So you're just gonna frame inside that?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Okay, any other questions? There's a motion on the floor?
Well, I have a thought.
Yes.
I believe by removing the railings in the middle, that it is going to decrease the character of the house, and it faces a main street, and it has a lot of character. It's also very durable. Changing from metal railing that's been there for, I don't know if you know how many years, to wood, that might have potential problems in the future durability wise,
Okay.
I think would be a concern. It's also, it matches all the way around, and so I think, as many people know, when you start to change one section, it then doesn't look as good the next section over, so you have to continue to change.
Right. I think what they were getting at with that, when we do the columns, that wood ties in with those columns a little better.
Because the columns are wood now,
They're
with the
just-
metal railing.
They're just 4x4s, yeah, they're not much.
And the iron gate is
And
beautiful.
the railing, I think that they want is gonna be kind of flat, like cedar, really nice, pretty, and stained and stuff
Sure.
like that, just to enhance that porch is what they're wanting to do.
It just looks very historical.
Yeah, I like it the way it is.
Right now,
Fine with
and it
me.
faces Tombstone.
Yeah, it
I
all
agree
ties
with
in.
you on
You mean
that.
the garage door? Yeah.
I think it'll
There's a
look
rolling door there now.
Yeah, that gate is pretty,
a little more average
pretty nice.
changes.
Yeah,
They definitely don't make them like that.
you're right.
Well, we have a motion on the floor. Do you want to amend that, or good with the way it is?
fine with it.
Okay, and we have a second. And the motion was to approve it as is. We heard your comments.
And comments is, I actually agree to leave the porch columns and rail how they are. My comment, but
Okay.
I think that's only the three of us.
So what are you saying, just to replace the wood and then put the metal railing back up?
No, leave the columns and rail how it is, as is, and then do
Well,
everything else they wanna do.
It's metal
Yeah.
railing there now,
But aren't the posts failing?
4x4.
Right, yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, the posts are failing, they need to be
The
Oh,
bottoms are
I
starting
missed
to
that
fall away,
part,
so-
yeah.
Anyway, so-
Okay, well, if they're
Could they
failing,
be
then,
widened with?
Yeah, that's what they're proposing, is to widen it.
Widen them,
Yeah,
but
that's
we
what
would,
they're-
but then could you put the metal back?
You could.
Yeah, we could do that. I mean, I could probably talk them into that if that's an issue.
That seems
And the
reasonable.
windows are great.
Well, that's the question. Do we want to amend that to put the metal back, or
Or is it okay?
with the wood?
Is that, I mean, I really don't have a firm position one way or another. I don't know if anyone else does.
Yeah, I'm kind of, it's
I
it's
think-
like, it's a one or the other.
Yeah, and I
It's-
think that I can see the point of the wood. You're working on the facade of the house.
How about we leave that to Johnny's discretion?
Well, then we pass it as is.
That's,
So that's the motion on the floor.
The owners?
I'm gonna call a vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
Was everyone in favor?
I believe
Did you
there's
vote?
one nay.
One
Nay, okay.
Okay.
So when you're the one nay, you have to be extra loud.
All right, agenda item 3, application 19-76, Newsy Residential Historic Contributing Property number 435, located at 216 Opera Drive. Is there someone here to speak?
Yeah.
I'm Wanda. Okay, so, looking at the packet, I guess drawing 1 is probably the east face of the house. So in 2011, there, I had went to DRB to put an addition on the bedroom there, on the far right of that drawing, which is the northeast corner. And the design at that time was to extend the roof of the porch down to enclose the addition, which ended up with a very low roof. So the proposal here is to make the roof higher, to correct the roof, and actually extend the roof of the house, which you see in this drawing. It's the roof of the house that's extended, and it comes forward to enclose that room, to cover that room. And then nodding to the porch roof by maintaining that trim on the facade, so that it shows, and also the post is maintained that was in the porch, in the addition. And then adding the clear story fixed windows. The other addition I added here, and this one from the 2011 one, was to replace these two windows exactly the same location. They're casement windows that are just failing, they're old, they flap in wind, and so replacing them with double hung Anderson, like all the ones that I've done, and wood on the inside and on the exterior. And then adding these clear story fixed transom windows, the transom windows above those two double hung windows, and then the transom above the door. Feasibility, Mr. Raby's gonna do the work, so if it fits under the porch, so that's the desire, if there's enough room structurally to fit that. And we haven't done the examination yet to see, once we take things apart, whether a window will fit above the door, or above those two windows, but that's the desire, is to get more of the view of the beam, because that's what I'd be looking at, rather than just my neighbor's porch.
So this house is contributing, so it's on the register?
No, it's not. I pay full taxes on it, I don't know why.
No, it's still, no, it's still on the register, you just haven't gone to SHPO to ask them to adjust your
Then I
taxes.
will be going to do that very
Yeah.
soon.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it is number
I would suggest
435.
before you make these clear story window changes, that you talk to SHPO
Okay.
about your plan, if you wanna apply for the tax, and see what they say about it.
Yeah.
Because we might approve it, they
Right.
may not see it.
There are a lot of changes that have been done to the house before, and that's why I hadn't applied.
Yeah.
It was originally wood, shingles, and now it's stucco. There've been a lot of changes
Well, if
to
you're
it
listed
since
in the registry,
then I probably
you
could
technically
apply. Mhm.
should be able to get it.
The clear story transom windows are conforming, if you look around, they're,
I would just check with them to make sure
okay.
before you go.
It's not about, well, conforming, sure, but you're changing a historic structure from what it was to something else, so
Mhm.
that changes its, whether it contributes or not, because you're changing the history essentially.
Uh-huh.
Conforming is more of a design thing, and that's if you're building something new or building an addition, so here you're changing the historical aspects of it.
Right, yeah.
If you're adding an addition that conforms, that's kind of, so it's slightly different, so you're changing the roof line
Mhm.
and the door openings and stuff like that, so it's a little bit, you're kind of erasing that part of the history and replacing it with something else.
Mhm.
So SHPO might, according to the National Parks guidelines, they prefer you don't do that kind of thing, but they don't mind if you do something like an addition or something else like that, where you can tell the difference between the new and the old.
Right. But that's separate from design review.
It
No.
is. Yeah, well, it
I mean,
is.
that's what we review,
Right.
so, but the SHPO, they're the ones that indicate whether it's contributing or not contributing. So if you do a remodel that we approve, they might not approve
Right.
and take away the tax status.
Correct.
So,
And at this point,
Yeah, it's
I've
already
been-
started. The project was started a while, so it needs to get finished.
it
She
needs
wants
get
to look at
fixed.
the beam.
It
So-
needs to be corrected, is,
I was gonna, I was out there today and I looked at it, and I can see where the addition was and the roof line that you're talking about. It
You
definitely.
can see it in the photograph.
Yeah, you can see it in the photo,
A
and
little bit.
I appreciated it a little bit more when I went out and looked at it and understood where
Well, I
the
appreciate
direction you
you
were
doing
trying to
that.
go in.
But,
That's there.
Yeah, and that looks like a drainage problem.
well,
Yeah.
exactly, and which is what Johnny recommended, well, why not just follow the roof of the house, extend it from the roof of the house, and the nod to the porch of leaving the trim there so that you can still see the porch roof line.
Right.
Yeah, and if you would've never known it was there, it would've looked natural to the house, you know?
Right. Right now, it definitely doesn't look.
No, right now, it looks like.
It needs to be.
So is there anyone with some strong opinions against this, or?
My only other concern, I think the deck is fine,
Oh, yeah, that was the other drawing.
and the area where you wanna put the double doors in,
The double doors are already there.
they're already there, and
They were
they're.
approved in 2011.
My only concern is the windows on the entry. Those look like they are original to the house. When I looked at them today, they didn't look in terrible shape.
Well, they're casements, right?
Their casement, and I don't know if, I wanna say that they were double hung is what was original. And these all look like they were, I don't know, they're just attached on there with a hinge, you know. They're
Right.
casement windows in what looks like the openings that were double hung windows. Cause there's one double hung window on the original house that looks like it was there originally.
It's all on the back.
It's all the way on the other side of the house. But all the others were replaced with these casement windows that are
Kinda-
just with a
kinda
couple of hinges.
Homemade
Yeah.
Kinda homemade casement windows.
Uninsulated.
Yeah.
Cold
Yeah.
windows, we like to call them.
And I'd be happy to look at doing something with lights, so it matches that. Of course, lights, you know, when you add more lights, you add money, but, you know, I'd be willing to do that rather than the, just double hung without additional lights in the top.
With
What?
a grid board, yeah.
I think we could all agree that having better energy efficiency
Well,
at
there was
times
that-
like these, this week is nice.
Right.
It is kinda nice, yes.
I just wanted to add the deck, again, that was approved in 2011, but now my retaining wall's failing, so I went out there and ripped up the deck one evening and myself. And so now it needs to be rebuilt. I did put on there to put a roof over the new deck, and that isn't there. And I personally have mixed feelings about that because you lose light, and so I put it in there, but for approval, but on the other hand, I might not cover the deck. I don't know if we can put that out there, like,
Right,
approve it if we decide to, or leave it as is, because right now it's not covered.
right.
There's no deck, but, it does allow more light into the house, and it didn't have a covered roof. I do see that a lot of the decks do have covered decks, but,
So just one thing to take note is, just architecturally speaking, that front entry, when you walk up in the stairs, you've got a railing on the right and on the left, front door. As it is historically, it's quite symmetrical. It's got that bungalow look.
yeah.
And so when you move that roof line, it's gonna move it out of symmetry, and it's gonna be more weighted to the right side,
Mhm.
and it's gonna look a little lopsided after that. So,
I would say my only other concern is the clerestory windows. I can totally see fixing the roof line. I can understand that, but a little concerned about those windows.
The clear stores.
Yeah,
We do see a lot of them in town.
and on Opera Drive that is.
Yeah.
so the front, there's a clear stories, and the note here says, trim facade to maintain line of porch roof, so that's your attempt to keep it symmetrical, right?
Well, that's to keep the porch, yeah, that's
Yeah,
where the porch
everything's gonna
roof
try to be
is.
symmetrical all
So
the
the
way
porch
across.
is gonna keep that symmetry, and that's not going, it's what's behind it.
Well, it's
The clear
actually gonna
story
be on the
windows.
same line, it's above, yeah.
Oh,
Mhm.
okay.
There was a thought of adding a window to the right of the door.
there's that like blank spot there.
I guess with the overhang that comes out, it's all gonna make it look like symmetrical. And then
Yeah, I think
if
if-
that vent even gets moved over a little bit too, we can make it,
I'm more fine with that, like, leaving, because that's a trace of the past.
right,
You can
Right,
see
and that's
what-
why I wanted to leave that there,
Yeah,
because,
okay.
yeah.
All right,
So, everything's in order, I'll make a motion to approve the application, DRB application number 19-76 as is.
I'll second that. All in favor?
Aye.
thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, item number 5. Four, we're on four. Okay, item number 4, application 19-77, Bisbee Residential Historic District, non-contributing property, number 476, located at 348 Williams Avenue. Somebody here to speak about that? All right, great.
Good evening, good evening, good evening. Thank you very much for this opportunity.
This is the two.
Has everyone been up to see the debacle, the situation up there? Okay, I recently purchased the property, and the seller, when he walked me up there to show me the property lines, flat out lied to me and told me that that piece of rebar there is that as part of it, and that, see that flag up there, that's it. Well, it was all wrong. And as it comes out, the house that I purchased is probably 80% on city property. Okay? And it's a derelict house. I went to the building inspector and he told me it was on the top 50 list to do something with it because it's a hazard and the city's liable. I mean, if somebody goes up there and decides to make a crack house out of it and start a fire, like they did down the canyon at Acuña's place, then, so my petition is to demolish the entire upper structure. There isn't a plumb, nothing's plumbing the whole building.
Or in the whole city.
Well, I understand that, but, you know, why not? Why do I have to live, you know, in a place that's like a kiss bug filled shack like that? The foundation is a pier and block, I guess, but I pulled up some floorboards and underneath there, the piers are like a little brick here with a little something stuck under it.
Classic old Bisbee building.
And the 2x4s that are in the walls, I don't think there's one that's a total joist. They're all pieced together, you know, a little piece here and a piece that one there. And anyway, it is still standing.
I think, what, I was looking at those, and I think the 2x4s are only there to add insulation. Because, I think it's like my house where the board and batten's the actual
Yes.
structure.
It was the old shack.
It is old board and batten, and that's it. And, you know, I mean, I think, you know, I see some of them that are redone, and I think they're charming, but I don't know where they started. This thing is rotten. Unfortunately, somebody threw big heavy objects through each of the rooms, which then let the water in, and so, you know, it's rotten.
Well, you can fur out the walls on the inside and then rebuild them from the inside out.
What
Yeah, that's how they do it. That's, if you wanted
Yeah.
to save it, that's how you
Well, the
would
thing
do it.
is,
Just
I mean,
build
the money you're gonna
interior walls.
spend to do all that, you know, you're gonna end up with a rickety, somewhat, you know, place that has, you know, it's not gonna be tight. And I'd rather.
I apologize, I was trying to find this because it was the wrong number.
Oh, I know, I don't know what the address is. I
So,
had
no,
two different.
No, it's not your error. But I totally missed the whole thing about the property line and the city thing, so if you could restate that, cause I was trying
Okay.
to find it and listen to you at the same time,
The-
that did not work.
The house, I don't know if you guys have a packet, but I had the property surveyed,
Okay.
and this is the house, and the property line is here.
Mark, could I,
This is
Look
my
at that.
property right here, this is the house here, so the only portion of the house that I actually own is back here. This is all city
city
property.
oh, okay, well, that, well, it looks like the majority of it
It's
is.
going to
Yeah.
city.
The majority,
It's grandfathered in.
well,
Means you don't pay tax on.
Have you talked to the city about, putting in an application to buy the property or get the property given to you?
the situation, see, I've been trying to get this in front of you guys and also in front of the board of directors or somebody, because there's an issue of transfer of city property, because I petitioned last year to put a sewer line up, a proper
Yes.
ADAQ
I was at that meeting.
approved sewer line, which will improve the entire canyon, which is predominantly city property.
And how's that going?
Well, that meeting is scheduled for the third week of this month, and I was hoping to get that meeting first, so that I could then, but the situation up here, I don't know if you have any other pictures that I sent in about all this is basically the state of the house in there, and some of you guys have seen it.
Well, I have another question for you. So, the sewer line, you wanna take down the house prior to having infrastructure for a new house?
Yes. Because,
Kinda putting the cart before the horse.
well, that's because that meeting should have been before
Yeah.
this meeting.
But I mean,
And so-
if you can't, put in infrastructure up there and then you can't, you see what I'm saying? If you can't, then why would you wanna take it down or do any of that?
Well, ultimately, I
You
may
would
just
still
have
wanna
to clear
build-
it, I may just have to clear it and try to sell it.
So if you
No.
take down the house, are you planning on rebuilding in the
Yes.
same footprint?
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
And I plan to build a house very similar, well, I don't like the style of the house. I don't think it fits into Bisbee myself. I mean, the aluminum siding, the wide paneled aluminum siding.
I have one more question. Don't you think that if you want to rebuild the house in the same footprint and it's right now on city property, that you'd be better off leaving the house and dealing with the property issues prior, property, infrastructure,
Like I
et cetera,
said,
prior?
I've been trying to get these meetings organized for a year, and I was supposed to have that meeting and Joe Ward was sick. And so they called me up and they said, we gotta cancel that meeting. And that was to transfer the city property.
Teresa, do you know anything about the,
Transfer of city property now.
no, just this particular situation? He's saying that he's trying to apply for the city property and all that, right? You've been
Yeah.
in contact with the city, do you know anything about
I've been in
it?
No.
contact with Joe.
Yeah.
Just Joe Ward?
Well, he
For-
told me
well-
he's the one who sells it. He goes, I'm the one who,
So
he
it's,
can put in, he can help you put in an application.
and I
Right.
have put in the application. and
with the
paid money.
$300
Yeah.
application,
Yeah, I
yeah.
put that
It
in.
hasn't gone before planning and zoning yet.
Okay, so we're waiting, and then you have a date to go before planning and zoning again?
I think the third week of this month, as far as I know, unless it gets changed again. The other issue up here is that there's 100 years of trash in the arroyo next to the house. I don't know if you guys saw that.
I saw
Yeah,
that
I've been
too.
up to.
And so, to get that out, which is something I would like to do, it might require to remove the house first, to get some equipment in there.
You know, I was out there today and, when I went inside and I looked at it, it looks like there's an original part of the house,
Right.
and then everything in the back is an addition.
And the front.
I would say everything in the back is, I wouldn't even attempt it. But I think the main part of the house, I think it's there, structurally, I think it could be saved, salvaged.
Yeah, well, there's definitely one really good board and batten wall, but it looks like between the addition and the original part of the house you're talking with, there's huge openings. And so if you were to take that addition off, then you've got a house with 3 walls, a big opening on the front. And so the original board and batten that probably was there is gone. My house was exactly like that, and I actually put in a board and batten, infill, and windows and so forth. But it's a big job, you know, so.
Yeah, I just think I could make something that looks really, you know that Echoes place that's on the Tombstone Canyon? That's what I'm
Little
thinking
cabin
about.
place?
Little cabin, same materials as that, metal roof. I really, that's another issue that I have, because it's such a fire area up there, to be forced to build an all-wood house, you know, and I was wondering if they would consider, I know Mueller designs buildings that look like board and batten, but it's metal, you know. And it's just because of the fire, you know, you go in, you put your money in, and you know, I don't even about fire insurance if they're, you know, to build a house that's gonna just burn down real quick.
Excuse me. So what I'm catching off, this is only my personal opinion, I don't speak for everyone at this table, obviously, but my feeling on this particular situation is that things are moving a little too fast. We don't have plans of what you'd like to put there in the place of the house that you want to tear down. I think that this place could be salvaged, but I understand why. Normally I'm totally against demolition, but it's so far up there, you can't really see it, doesn't really matter, but you don't really have a plan of what you want to put there. Hold on, please let me talk. And there's the issue with the property, with the city, I think that needs to be dealt with. And I also, so what I would like to propose is that we just table this, let you deal with your stuff with P&Z, think about your infrastructure and things like that, and then come together with a real plan of what you want to do, and then come back to us in a month and be like, hey, look, I got all this sorted out, this is what I want to do, this is the kind of house I want to put up here, and like if you put a sewer line up there, I was at that meeting, and that would be great for the town, totally support you on that, but I just don't feel like you're here with enough information besides, I just want to tear some stuff down, I don't really have my ducks
Well, I
in a row.
wanna clean it, I wanna clean that whole thing out, and it's a hazard right now, and that's my main issue, I've gone up there and done all
But
the
it sounds
fire.
like it's the city that's liable for it anyway, so it's not really.
Well,
an
that's,
issue.
that's what I realized, you know, all of a sudden I said, my God, I go, am I even responsible for tearing it down? I mean, it's not really on my property.
And
you
again,
know.
I think that's some
and-
things that you should find
You
out
know,
prior to us making a judgment on this particular issue. I don't know if anyone else
No, I
feels
agree
like
with you. I
that.
think we should table it. I think we should address the issue with the city. the
Well,
sewer
I just
line.
wanna let you know that I had all intentions to have that.
Yes.
Yes.
No, we get that. I'd like to see what you wanna
I
put there.
finally, well, I
That's
just,
it.
just like
Like
that.
on
look-
a paper, drawings or something.
Yeah.
And, you know.
Well, I
something
first wanted to see
definitely
if you're
does
gonna
need
let
to
me
be
tear it
done.
down. If I can draw everything I want, if you guys say,
Well, that
guess what?
depends on
You
what
have
you
to
wanna
restore the
replace it
building.
with.
You know,
For me, personally, if you wanna replace it with something that I feel is totally out of character, I'm gonna be like, no, I'd rather you just fix the house that's there.
yeah, well, that's what I want to figure out, before I start, you know, making plans like that, if I came in here and you guys said, guess what? You're not tearing down that house, so you can draw all the pictures you want in the world. and
Well, I think if you do your research, everyone here is pretty reasonable. If you wanna put something nice up there, I doubt you're gonna have any trouble.
Well, I'm certainly not gonna put up what sits across from me in the canyon.
So I'll make a motion to table application, what's the number? DRB application, well, that's not the right
That
one.
is,
What's the,
19-77.
Seventy-seven.
oh, 19-77 till the next meeting.
I second.
Okay, motion's been made. My only comment about it is we have a gentleman here who wants to take care of that, and we have a lot of derelict, bad property around town that we're trying to get cleaned up, like the place on Tombstone. And we got a guy here that wants to do it. I hate to, stop him from doing, especially
Well, I
up
mean,
there.
I
if
wanna
it's too
stop
difficult,
everyone from
believe
tearing
me,
down
I
houses.
will.
Well, it depends on
Go
the
into
house. Look at that
and
house.
Just sit on it.
And if I'm gonna make a
Leave the trash
judgment
out
to
there.
tear down a house, I want to know what's gonna be there. I wanna know what's gonna happen.
Question, it might, if you were to tear it down, there's a lot of reusable materials. The hardwood floor is decent, the board and battens are reusable.
I've already, you saw,
The
I
window.
started to stack the
Yeah.
stuff that was,
The beadboard, yeah.
whatever was
And
usable.
The tub.
Yeah, all that
It would be
stuff.
pretty cool if you were to reuse those.
I would.
On a new house, which would be like the whole,
I was,
when the pit was dug, Joe Hogan's house got an addition in the 50s because it was part of the house from elsewhere, so.
Okay.
That's just my comment.
And I mean,
well-
the windows and everything in there isn't anything like it should be in this town.
Right.
I mean, so I wouldn't put the same thing, I would make something like that Echo's place that's down on that's the design I'm thinking about on a print, a 700 square foot, small home, or, cabin type place. Not a big mansion, not not like what sits across from me that I look at.
We get it. All right, so,
Motion's been made and seconded.
Okay,
table
so I'll
this.
come back
So
once
you'll
I've
come
talked
back
to the
once you
city.
talk to the city. All in
See what they
favor?
say.
aye.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
All right. Application, agenda item number 5, application 20-20, residential historic district, contributing property number 316 located at 31 Moon Canyon. Yes.
Hello, my name is Douglas Tello. I've been before you before on my project up there on the end of Boone Canyon. I was informed that you would have packets or on your iPad. I do have my original, it's full size if any of you would like to see it. I can pretty much go over it because I worked on it.
You know the project inside and out then, huh?
This is the project that I've been working on since 2015, my wife and I.
Right.
3 years ago, or two seasons ago, I had Richard Pennick of Concrete Dick come in, and he recast the stairway that leads up to the house to bring it to code, as well as did some concrete work at the top that was crumbling. This year, my winter's building project is to take the little bunker garage that is beside the house, and it's got a concrete roof on it that leaks terribly. In the past, the previous owners actually put a corrugated metal roof inside it to kind of direct the water away from the inside. It's got an opening door right now that is 6 feet 10, which means most cars can't get in it. And the other part of it is that the garage is only 13.5 feet deep, which means that I'm limited pretty much to a smart car or a Mini Cooper. When I went through this before, we got initial permission, but then Joe Ward realized that what I wanted to do was add 18 inches to the front of this garage that brings it out to the property line that's marked in the street there. There's very definite markers. I wanted to bring a lower buttress that would help stabilize the Bisbee standard concrete wall there. And then on that, I would be building up a frame structure. The other thing that I would be doing is taking off the concrete roof, dropping that into a trailer that I would park into it. It would be hauled off to a friend of mine's place in Ephrata where he has a pit that he can dump the concrete, so it wouldn't be a problem for Bisbee. And then what I would do was frame the side of it so that it has an actual full
sloping corrugated metal roof on it, that can be maintained. Then the other part of it was that there was, when I bought the property, an added on deck of 2x6. They weren't even pressure treated boards that were cantilevered over the top of this. I would replace this with all pressure treated up to code deck that is actually anchored onto a 2x4 metal welded frame that would attach to the garage, so the whole thing would be properly supported instead of floating in air. Concrete Dick is going to do the actual reinforcement as needed on the project. He's gonna come in and do the buttresses as well as reinforce the south wall, which currently is in a little mystery plot of land that no one knows who owns. It's either me, the neighbor, or the city, to keep the drainage off the side of the garage that's there. So when it's all said and done, it will look very similar to what is there right now, except that the garage door will be a full 7-foot standard garage door. It'll be an 8-foot opening on it, be able to get a medium-sized car inside this thing. Will actually be a useful garage. Right now, I had used it as kind of a storage area. I can't even use it as a storage area right now. The things that were in it were getting rusty or mildewed or rotten, even though they were up on pallets. The other thing is we've already poured a concrete floor in there. That was the first thing I did when all the other stair concrete work was done to try and dry it out and at least make better drainage. That's helped, but we really need to put a totally different roof on this. I can't see any reason to recast a concrete roof, because I'd just be facing the same problems that I've got right now.
I just have one question. Wouldn't it be cheaper to just buy a smart car?
Have you checked consumer reports? Yeah, it would be simpler, but I'm looking at, I don't have a smart car.
I'm totally kidding, but
Yeah.
I mean, I've seen all your work up there and seen it firsthand, and Concrete Dicks does great work, and it all seems very straightforward to me. See if anyone else has
Any
any
comments? Then, Ken? Sorry.
Yeah, I just had Concrete Dick look at the roof, which he probably already has.
Yes.
I just worry that maybe it's helping keep the walls from falling into.
I understand your concern. I'm not sure you understood what I was talking about when I said I was gonna take the roof down. What I'd be doing is not the current roof was poured with reinforcement in the form of mine rails put into it. Those would be the last thing to come out. Those are what's supporting the two walls from coming in anyway. So basically, having taken down the front wall on the garage that's across the street, which was my first project, and also have taken down the front wall of the casita across the street, I'm pretty confident that I'm going to be able to drop that in. In the event that it does go and fall in, I have to repair it. You know, that's all there is to it. If the concrete is that fractured and that frail, and it falls in, then I need to know that so that I would then put proper walls in, just like I reinforced the back wall of the garage across the street the first year. I think that was 22 yards by the time we got done with it, which is why I now have a Honda Element, because it's the only thing that will fit in the space. But yeah, this is the sort of thing, I've done it before here. I'm not trying to change the facade. The reason it's here is because I'm making it 18 inches deeper.
Right. Would someone like to make a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve agenda item 5, which is application 2002, as submitted.
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, Doug.
All right, on to agenda item number 6, This application is seeking approval for addition to the front deck and safety railing to the house. This residential historic district contributing property number 535 located at 203A Tombstone Inn.
Yes, my name is Tom Sullivan, and I'm here to represent my granddaughter and grandson, Colin and Lacey, who's been working on that house for about 2 years. As you know, that house was pretty rough when they started on it, and the only holdup was the railing. I just got notified that I needed to represent him because he couldn't make it down from Phoenix. So what he told me was that the deck is 8 by 38. Which is the full length of the front of the house. And it's the railings the question is the railings. And he really doesn't care what, obviously it's gotta be code, but he doesn't care what the design is, as long as it's approved by you guys.
Right.
So I took a picture of a common rail that I didn't have time to print it. A common rail that I see around here a lot. It's just 4x4 posts, 2x2 spindles.
That's pretty standard, yeah.
Yeah, just kind of the standard. He just wants to paint it. It's going to be just fur, and he's going to paint it to match the house.
That's kind of showing.
And that's all I needed.
Just a railing across the deck. Yeah, it's kind of it's a markup of it on the application.
Yeah, he had the drawings, but I didn't see. I don't have those.
Yeah, we've got them.
Good.
Okay. Make a motion? Great. Second?
Okay, to approve, I make a motion to approve, application 20-03.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Good.
All right, thank you, sir. Thanks.
Okay, agenda item 7, application, that's you. 20-04, Bisbee Residential Historic District, contributing property located at 201B Quality Hill.
Oh, wait.
No, this isn't it.
Oh,
It's not it.
This is,
You're number 8.
I'm number 8.
You're number 8. Number 7.
number 7.
Yeah, so I did not bring in a cell phone, but the
Okay.
applicant can be called to participate. John, you mind? Would you mind?
okay. Oh, my speaker, you wanna use yours, cause my speaker's not working.
Okay.
Okay.
Too much concrete?
Yeah, it's
Yeah, too much use.
not doing well.
This is Melinda.
Hello, this is the Bisbee Design Review Board calling about your application.
Hello?
Yes,
Hi, yes, how are you?
we're good. We're about to look at your application for approval of 5 retrofit windows, white interior, bronze exterior.
I'm gonna put you in speakerphone.
That would be good, Robin.
Okay, hi.
All right. Okay, we're gonna look at your application for approval of 5 retrofit windows, white interior, bronze exterior.
Okay.
Anybody on the board, comments? Yes.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out what I couldn't find the house. Yeah. Hi, this is Ben. I couldn't find the house. I looked for like 15 minutes, I just couldn't find it. You found it? Okay. I'm trying to figure out what the current bathroom window is.
Actually, the house above us has a large deck over us, and the bathroom window is immediately under the deck. It doesn't face the street. And
Hi, my name is Sean. I actually was out there today and I looked at it. I had a couple questions on it, because one, when I looked at it, obviously it's a stained glass style window and it looks pretty original to the house, but is there like a plexiglass or a piece of glass that's in front of it that's broken? Because I did know.
John, my name's Mike. It's just a piece of plexiglass, actually. It's not actually a window of glass, and it is not operable. It's just a piece of plexiglass. And the situation that we're involved in is we actually don't want you folks to approve this through Home Depot because they misled us on the time frame for the windows to be put in. Plus, they also told us, just like every other window company, that we asked that the interior panes were allowable, and we understand that they were not allowable, and that the previous homeowner was told that, and we were never disclosed that when we purchased the property. Right. So if we would have known that, we would have never submitted through Home Depot or any other company interior pained type windows.
Well, what we could do, we could table this matter till when you're back in town and reschedule. That way you wouldn't have to reapply for an application. You've already done that.
But actually, sir, what I'd like to do is I'd like for you to not allow whatever you do, these windows, this permit at all.
Okay.
Because I'd like to resubmit with another company,
All right.
another person, to windows that would comply with your standards.
All right.
And I'm just gonna cancel the order with Home Depot.
Okay, we're good with that, then we'll just take it, withdraw at this time.
He would like you to decline it.
Sir, we need for you to actually say you.
Okay, we'll make a motion to that effect.
So motion to decline the permit, and then we can tell Home Depot it was declined.
Right.
Because it doesn't comply. Like Home Depot, that it was acceptable.
Gotcha, okay.
Yeah, I
Yes.
just have a couple comments. So before we decline it, I would also decline the two historic windows. There's a horizontal window that looks like it's in good condition. Sean checked it out. And then the stained glass window, I would repair it.
I have a
It's
comment about
plastic.
that one. It actually looks,
It faces the back of the house. It's the original window. It's not really stained glass. It's got like plastic little panels on it.
it
But
looks,
it's an original window. And I'm thinking I'm just gonna go ahead and just seal it and just keep it as original.
my name is Yvette, and I went to look at the window, and I got very up close to it, and from a distance, from the stairs, number 9, it looks like it's stained glass, but when you get close to it, it looks like somebody took a collage, like magazine or newspaper, and they glued it to the window to make it look like it's stained glass.
Yeah, you said it's not.
Is that?
Just historic.
So it's not really stained glass, the shape of the window is historic, and you could probably put a single hung window there, I'm thinking, in place of it that would actually open, because right now you can't open the window, correct?
Right, we can't open the window, the mechanisms are not there, we actually have it sealed somewhat temporarily. You're not talking about the bathroom, you're talking about the rectangular,
I'm talking about the bathroom window that has triangular shapes, it almost looks like a face, it looks like stained glass, with triangular shapes.
stained glass, yeah. Yeah.
And that is stained glass, or it's not?
No, there's no stained glass.
No stained.
Okay,
thank you.
then we'll entertain a motion to deny this. John, you want to make the motion?
Really agree with you in this.
All right.
I'll make a motion to approve, and then we'll vote it down.
One or the other.
I'll make a motion to deny DRB application 20-04.
Second that.
Okay, the motion's been made and seconded to deny the application. All in favor?
Aye.
Application denied.
Were you an agent?
Thank you so much, folks. Go get we'll get good windows in very soon.
Okay,
Okay.
very good.
And Ben, were you the second?
You guys, thank you.
Did you second it?
Weird.
Okay,
Yes.
yes.
Hey, next time I have an application on the table, if you could just let me, tell you guys what to do, I'd appreciate that.
All right. Agenda item 8.
Okay, there you
Mrs.
go.
Yvette.
I recuse myself to present.
Okay, this application seeking approval to replace failing windows which are leaking and allowing condensation to penetrate into the house.
Hi, my name is Yvette Ponte, and I am the owner of 98B Quality Hills Drive. I have to some degree, apologize because I've lived here now about 2 years, and I only became aware of the Design Review Board about a little over a month ago now, when our retaining wall failed. And I had the pleasure of meeting Mr. Ward. So in the pleasure of meeting Mr. Ward, we also found out that we were not supposed to be replacing our windows. We had a couple of storms, one was in August and the other one was in November, in which the windows were damaged. They were already in pretty bad shape. They were already allowing condensation inside. These windows are the undesirable aluminum style windows. So they got further damaged in the 2 hailstorms, in which case some of them were even cracked. So we removed them, not knowing that this was something that we couldn't do, because me and my partner Dave Wiggs are very hands-on people, very much DIY, have not been part of a homeowners association, which I kind of have to equate the board to. So we took matters into our own hands to fix them as they were broken. We replaced them with single light casement windows. The trim on the inside is exactly the same. The trim on the exterior of the house is exactly the same. There's a total of 5 windows, which are consistent with 9 other casement windows that already exist in the house. The windows are also not viewable to the public. They are protected by a 10 to 12 foot retaining wall, and you have to walk down or drive down a dirt road that is also not really well traveled by the public. Most people that come down that way, there's one neighbor that lives down at the bottom of the hill, and then everybody else that comes down the road, unfortunately, has taken a wrong turn, and we usually have to go out there and try to help them out. This is a road that is not currently paved by the city, though it is a city road, which is called a road. So today, I'm asking for approval, though we made the mistake of not knowing to contact the Design Review Board in advance to take those windows out and replace them. Could we have approval to go ahead and move forward with keeping the windows in place and then replacing the trim like for like on the exterior, where they had to remove some of the trim?
So, yeah, I'm gonna hit you with something that everyone else gets hit with, is that it doesn't matter if it's not visible, or, I mean, we're not really supposed to take that into, we can take it into account. But really, windows are windows. It's not, because you can't see this window, I should be able to put sliders or whatever. So that's, you know, just something that, you know, you're gonna be learning here soon too. Other than that, that's.
I was out the other day, it looks great.
Yeah.
So there's no old wood windows that were replaced?
No.
No, and when I looked at the rest of the, they gave me a tour, and when I looked at the rest of the house, it's pretty much all casement windows. Some of them are just, they're not really.
Just shaped.
It's a piece of glass trimmed out, and that's
And
about
there is
it.
a picture of the aluminum window in the application that you can see. You can see.
I make a motion to approve application 20-06.
Go ahead, second.
I'll second you.
Motion's been made and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Yeah. Good to go. Okay. Agenda item number 9, application 20-08, Bisbee Residential Historic District, non-contributing property located in 183 Quality Hill. Yeah.
Quality across, I don't know what it is. So, I went in to do this application for this deck, because it had that chain link paneling around it.
Yeah.
The owner wanted to reuse that stuff and put it back, but, you know, and I don't know if you guys would have approved it or not, or wanted me to change it back to the typical, you know, balustered hand railing. But, the other day he called me, we've already almost rebuilt the whole deck, the side of the railings, all the framing's done, but he called me and said that with all the new lumber combined, that he kinda wants to go with the typical railing anyways, so. One way or another, I tried to call him before the meeting and see if he'd actually made up his mind or not, so, I didn't get a hold of him. But, so I'd still like to kind of discuss the options, because I don't know where he's at right now with the whole, railing system.
So you already took the chain link off?
Yeah.
So I'm gonna vote for the wood.
Yeah.
The all of it had to come down anyways. I mean, you can see in the picture how big of a sag there was in that porch. That whole corner, the inside corner there was completely rotted out, so
This
it's all pretty much
goes to
rebuilt.
show how bad pine has gotten these days,
Doesn't hold
it's
up.
like sponge.
Yeah.
Well, and aside of the type of lumber that was used, it was never maintained either.
So
And
you
then at
are,
one point, there was a hot tub in the middle of that existing deck, so let's just add to the problem.
you're originally intending on putting the chain link back? Is that-
Yeah, pretty much exactly like it is now, but now that he's seen the new lumber,
We wouldn't like that.
yeah.
I'm in favor of that.
Yeah, if he's even entertaining the idea, just do the wood.
Okay, sounds good to me.
So, should I
Yes.
make a motion?
Vertical wood, 4" on center.
Typical
4.5" on center.
Code just said
4-inch.
2-inch,
Yeah, it's basically, it's
2x2.
a 2x2 with a 2x6 top rail, with 2x4 to hold the 2x2s on. Spaced 4 inches apart, got another post every 6 foot by code, can't go more than that.
Pressure treated or something that'll last a little
No,
longer.
it's all painted Doug fir, that's what he wanted to use.
Okay.
But it's all more than 18 inches, so code doesn't require me to use pressure
that's not
treated.
up to us.
Somebody make a motion?
That's just the
Yeah. Oh, I thought that was a motion. I already wrote that down.
Okay.
I already wrote that down as a motion, but,
Okay. Oh. Well, then somebody second.
so vertical to, yeah, okay.
Motion's been made and seconded. All in favor?
Alright, thanks.
All right. Okay, application item number 10. Application 20-10, Historic District, contributing Grisby Commercial Historic Location 67 Main for sign. Yes.
Is he back?
Yeah.
Hi there, Joseph Lewis,
Yeah.
representing the owner of the building. You've got the package in front of you. I just wanted you to pass this around. This is a sampling of 22 signs, most of which are not compliant to the sign ordinance, but some have been there only weeks and some have been there months. I'm trying to go through the process and do it the right way. It's a unique spot, it's downstairs, so a hanging sign really doesn't make sense because it's below grade. In fact, you can only really see this proposed sign when you're walking on that side of the sidewalk. It's the old Shepherd's Inn space, if you remember correctly. It has an LED backlighting, which I realize, but it's not neon. And so the city billboard required, the fire inspector actually required that we put a light fixture down in that stairwell. The light fixture would be brighter than the actual sign itself. The sign is made out of a kind of a rusted metal with rivet heads, which I think has a lot of character, and love to answer any questions that you might have.
I just want to make It has nothing to do with your sign, just a comment on neon. Neon is probably the most historical, like,
Oh, he failed to call you.
beautiful signage you could pick for Bisbee,
Okay.
so I don't know why our DRB rules exclude neon, it doesn't make any sense.
No, it shouldn't.
Anyway.
Oh, yeah.
Same with incandescent, like regular bulbs, you see that on like old theaters, you'll have like a dots of, I think that's left over from general 1960s or 1970s and rules that made no sense, which are also in place in Tucson. That's just my rant on neon.
Well, that's good, we're in the process of changing those
Yeah.
guidelines, so we can address that. I think this sign looks good to me. I like the looks of it. Any other comments?
So we're just, voting on the sign,
Yes.
whether we have
Yeah.
the sign or not?
Yeah.
I got, confused because you were talking about the light, and then I thought maybe you wanted to move it somewhere else.
No, it's just an 18-inch by 36-inch
My
sign.
apologies.
For approval.
I'll make a motion.
Okay.
All right, I'd like to make a motion to approve DRB application number 20-10.
I'll second that motion.
Okay, motion's been made and seconded, all in favor?
Aye.
Thank you very much.
Frank, you did
Yes.
have an individual who wanted to speak on item 8.
That's right.
Oh, you're not out of the water yet.
Okay, Michael, want to speak on item 8?
Item 8 was the replacement of single hung windows with casement windows. During the presentation, it wasn't clearly identified that the windows they did take out were single hung windows. The majority of the houses in that area on Quality Hill is single hung windows. And when she was up here talking about other properties on Quality Hill, she was kind of demanding that single hung windows get put in. So the change of single hung windows to casement windows on Quality Hill on a contributory